To the second lecture. As I have told, I will be basically focusing on the current trend in rapid prototyping technology, which has now evolved as the commonly known name known 3D printing and additive manufacturing. So, in lecture number one, we started from the very basic introduction, and we we discussed about the classification, about the classification of RP technology. So in this we have discussed there are basically uh, three types of rapid prototyping technologies currently in use. So basically, all these classification of rapid prototyping or additive manufacturing or 3D printing, they are they were based on the your starting material. So your starting material may be a liquid, solid, or powder based. So we try to discuss, or rather than discuss, we try to introduce few technologies in RP. So we started with liquid-based rapid prototyping technologies or rapid prototyping systems. Under this, we have three types of under liquid-based rapid prototyping system. We have three types of technologies. First one is stereolithography, then solid ground curing. Third one is droplet deposition manufacturing. So up to this, we have discussed. We were discussing about stereolithography in previous lecture, and in this stereolithography, we have starting material in the form of your liquid monomers. Okay, so these liquid monomers are photosensitive liquid polymers, and they have a property. They are photosensitive, and these liquids, when they come in the direct contact of a laser beam, they get solidified. Okay, so using this property, developed a setup. We introduced a setup which is called as stereolithography. Okay, so under stereolithography, we have a laser source. We have liquid material. Your starting material is in liquid form, and uh, from your from your CAD model, we have our sliced data. Okay, first we generate CAD model, then it is tessellated in STL form, then it is further sliced through a slicing algorithm, and this sliced data is used to control the motion of your laser source. Okay, so using this property, using this technique, we were solidifying your liquid material into solid form, layer by layer. Okay, so this was our initial setup. Here we have suppose initially we are having only liquid, and for printing first layer of your CAD model or slice data, what we are doing, we are moving your laser source over this initial base surface. Okay, over this initial base, we are moving your laser. So wherever your laser is moving, the liquid gets solidified instantly within 2-3 seconds. Okay, and as soon as the building of or the solidification of first layer is completed, your base or the platform is lowered by the distance delta z, which is equal to your layer thickness. Okay, so you can say delta t. Okay, so this way this process we are repeating at each at the completion of your one layer, or the completion of each layer. We are repeating this process, and your base or your platform is getting lowered by the distance equal to your or by the height which is equal to your layer thickness. Okay, so here you can see this is our starting when we are printing, or we are solidifying your layer. This is our first layer, and as soon as there are number of layers are printed, you can see your part start appearing. Okay, so this much we have discussed in the first class, and we saw one product which was produced using your stereolithography technique. Okay, so I told that we have one 3D printer which is available for use to the students. Okay, so whenever you are coming physically, maybe from July onward, you will get a chance to print the parts on this 3D printer. It is based on stereolithography itself. Okay, so there were the few things we discussed about STL files. Okay, then uh, suppose now we will start the new topic, that is how to decide your build time when we are creating solid parts using your stereolithography technique. Okay, I hope my slide is synchronized with the content which I am delivering. All of you, yeah, all of. If there is any delay, then I can pause for some few seconds. Okay, so uh, uh, this is a new topic for today. How we will decide your build time when you are printing a CAD model, or you are solidifying, you are creating a model from your through STL file. Okay, so suppose uh, this is calculated by using the this formula. This is for single layer. Time to complete to build or the solidification of a single layer. This may be given as Ti equal to Ai upon V D plus Td. Okay, so here Ti is time to complete the single layer. Ai is area of your layer, surface area of your layer I. V is average scanning speed of your laser beam at the surface. T is diameter of the spot size, assuming it as circular. TD is delay time between layers to deposit the work table. So when we are switching from one layer to another layer, there is some time delay between these two layers. Okay, from layer 1 to layer 2. So this TD is denoted as your delay time. Okay, so suppose there are 100 layers, so you have to calculate time for each layer, time for layer 1, then layer 2, layer 3. Okay, so this may not be same for all layers. T1, T2, T3 may be different or may be same if your these parameters are same. Okay, so if you are printing a component which is having 100 layers or 1000 layer, so you can calculate the total time to print any CAD model or any STL file based on the number of your layers. Suppose there are n layers, so Ti summation of Ti I is varying from 1 to n. So where n is your number of layers. Okay, so this, okay, yes, total time I have written here. So total time, total build time, you may write it as TC, total build cycle time. This may be given as summation of sigma I equal to n to ni Ti. Okay, so Ti is time into any particular layer. This I will be varying from I to n, where n is your total number of layer or approximate number of layer to print your part. Okay, so I hope those who have continued discussion from yesterday, that is the lecture number 1, they might be able to understand how this layer by layer printing is taking place. Then I'm only in first two three lecture. I will just try to give an overview how much technologies have been evolved. Then maybe from next week I will try to cover up all these slides today itself. These are 20 more than 20 slides. So I will try to give just an overview so that you at least you are aware about the nomenclature in your rapid prototyping technology. So then next in under liquid based RP technologies, we have solid ground curing. This slide I will be sharing. PPTs I have already shared. So this introduction part you will find self-explanatory in nature. Okay. So here you can see under solid ground curing. Your again we are passing some uh, some UV. We are passing. We are we are applying some light on your liquid or photosensitive polymers. Okay, so here the only difference is that instead of laser source, we have a lamp, and we are exposing your liquid photosensitive polymers through certain mask. Because if you apply the if your whole liquid comes in contact or in direct contact of your light, your whole liquid may get solidified. Okay, so in order to prevent the solidification of whole liquid, what we are doing, we are preparing mask layer by layer. Okay, so for each layer we have mask. Say this is mask corresponding to layer I. Okay, so as soon as this mask is kept above your liquid surface, and you switch on your laser source, what will happen? The wherever your light is coming, the liquid will be solidified. Okay, so this way the solid ground curing takes place. We are curing your liquid photopolymers using your UV lamp. Okay, so these we will be discussing in detail. So I will not tell more. Let me read out the names at least in 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 today's discussion. Okay, so in next we have under liquid based rapid prototyping technologies, we have droplet deposition manufacturing. So as the name indicate, the droplets of your liquid melted liquid material or the melt material, they are shot by a nozzle onto a previously formed layer. Okay, when we are printing your first layer, then these are shot on a base. Okay, so this material is deposited in the form of droplets, and as soon as it is solidified, we move to the next layer. Okay, so the concept will remain same. The only the method of depositing your layer is changing. Here we are using melted material. Okay, and it is being deposited in the form of droplet. And as soon as these droplets are solidified, we move to the next layer uh, as per our slice data. Okay, so we will be discussing more in a later stage about these technologies. Uh, then we have second type of RP technologies in which your starting material is solid. Okay, so under solid based rapid prototyping technologies, we have laminated object manufacturing and fused deposition molding. So initially when these RP techniques were developed, your fused deposition modeling was quite common, although it is quite common nowadays also. But as far as I recall, this was the first kind of RP technology which was used to produce product using layer by layer material addition. Okay, so under laminated object manufacturing, we have stock, we have supply role, and this under this we are laminating your you can say your one layer over another layer. So here you can see this material is moving coming on your face, and through this laser source we are laminating one sheet over another sheet. Okay, so this is just for overview. Detail we will be discussing which kind of material we are using, what kind of laser source, what is the energy of laser source, what are the difficulties, what are the application. These all things we will be discussing in detail. In fact, I will be discussing 7 type of your additive manufacturing processes in much detail. Okay, so just for telling you about the different technologies, I am just now for today I will take only names. Okay, so we have laminated object manufacturing. So then we have next type of RP technology, which is uh, which is called fused deposition modeling. So under fused deposition modeling, we have a long filament of wax polymer or wire, which is extruded onto a existing part surface from a workhead to complete uh, each new layer. Okay, so in this type of FDM type of your RP technology, the work head is controlled in the XY plane. So suppose this is your base, and this is your X direction, this is your Y direction. So what we are doing in the case of RP technology, we have a nozzle, and through this nozzle, your material is deposited on this base surface layer by layer. Suppose this first layer is getting printed like this, and your material is deposited on this. Then the deposition of second layer takes place like this. So depending upon your requirement of depending upon the area, size, and shape of your depending upon your data which is available in your each layer, your material is deposited in the case of your FDM process. So in FDM process, the extrudate is solidified. Your extrudate is called the material which is being extruded through the nozzle. Okay. So extrudate is solidified and cold welded to the cooler part surface, which is normally in the range of time which is taken for solidification is in the range of 0 to 0.1 or 2 seconds. Okay, so this way we are building or we are printing your 3D model in FDM processes. Okay, so let us move the next. Then we have third type of RP technologies. These are called uh, powder based RP technologies also. So in powder based RP technologies, we have starting material in the form of powder. Okay, so these may be your powder of different materials, and there are two basic technologies which are being used under powder based uh, RP technology. One is your selective laser sintering, and second one is your three-dimensional printing. Okay, in selective laser sintering, again in selective laser sintering, what we are doing, as the name indicate, there is some laser source and some sintering is taking place. Okay, at selective places. So on which selective places the sintering is taking place? On the selective area, the selective area depends upon the data in your slice data. Okay, so in selective laser sintering, we are moving laser beam which centers heat visible powder in areas corresponding to the CAD geometry or your sliced data one layer at a time to build your solid part. After completion of your after each layer is completed, a new layer of loose powder is spread across the surface. Layer by layer, the powders are generally bonded by the laser beam into a solid mass that form the 3D part geometry. Okay, in the areas not centered, the powder are loose and can be poured out of your complete part. So then we have a your second type of powder based technology, which is called as three-dimensional printing. Okay, so in three-dimensional printing also it is more or less similar to your inkjet printing. We all of us use printers to print to take print out 2D print out of your text which you want to print. Suppose I want to print this screen. So what I will do, I have a printer, inkjet printer. As soon as I apply Control P command, which is most common, you get the print on a piece of paper. Okay, so this process is also more or less similar to your inkjet printers, in which we have your cartridge in the form of your powder, like the inkjet printers, where we are using uh, initial starting material in the form of powders. I hope all of you have seen the cartridge powder which is used in black and white printers. This is black, very fine black powder. Okay, so same kind of material or metal or maybe non-metal powders are used in the three-dimensional printing of your object using your this RP technology. Okay, so in this, what we are doing, the inkjet printer to eject adhesive bonding material onto successive layer of powder. So what we are doing in the case of 3D printing, we are we are printing first layer, then after the completion of one layer, another layer is printed on the previously printed layer. Okay, so in this, what we are doing, binder is deposited in the areas corresponding to the cross section of part as determined by the slicing of CAD geometry model into layers. The binder holds the powder together to form the solid part, while the unbonded powder remains loose to be removed later. To further strengthen the part, a sintering step can be applied to bond the individual powder. Okay, so here you can see the how this three-dimensional printing is taking place in the case of your 3D printing RP technology. Okay, so here you can see the powder is deposited, and then uh, through a inkjet head, uh, through this inkjet printing of areas is taking place wherever you need solid layer of your uh, part to be produced. Okay, then after that this your base of your or platform is lowered by the height which is equal to your layer thickness. Okay, so this your platform is lowered by a height which is equal to your layer thickness. You may call it delta T. Okay, so in very brief, because I wanted to complete this slide in first lecture, but it moved in second. So uh, there I kept the applications of RP technology. So the application of rapid prototyping technologies can be classified into three categories. These are in design, in second one in engineering analysis and planning, and third one tooling and manufacturing. The design applications are basically designers are able to confirm their design by building a real physical model in minimum time using RP technology. The benefits of RP technologies are reduced lead time to produce prototype, improved ability to visualize part geometry, early detection of design errors, increased capability to compute mass properties. Then we have second application which is engineering analysis and planning. So the engineering analysis of planning allows existence of parts allow certain engineering analysis and planning activities to be accomplished that would be more difficult without the physical entity. So these we will be discussing in detail when we are discussing uh, technology wise when we are discussing these RP technologies. Okay, so there are tooling applications. Then okay, so then there are manufacturing applications of RP technology. So in these may be used in small batches of plastic parts that could not be economically molded by injection molding because of the high mold cost. Part with intricate internal geometries that could not be made using conventional technologies without assembly, they can be produced using your RP technology. One of a kind parts such as bone replacement that can be made to correct size for each user. Okay, so we can print the components as per the requirement. Maybe when we are talking about bone replacement, the size may differ from one patient to another patient. So we can even print bones for the patient specific bones as per the desired size or whatever correct size we need for that particular patient. Okay, so this we will be discussing in problems with RP technologies. So these few points I have listed out, but we will be discussing limitations to each technology wise problems in much detail from the next week. Okay, so for today I took in a very fast forward mode, so I will stop here and from Monday onwards, whenever your class is scheduled about this course, we will be discussing the various issues. Basically, we will be focusing on the 7 type of RP technologies. So uh, At that time, we will discuss in detail about the working principle of each technologies. What are the current work which is going in each of the processes like FDM, SLS, or SLC. So whatever work is going on, whether the work is going on in metal type RP technologies or polymers. Okay, so those detailing we will be doing. What are the difficulties? What are the major applications area? And what are the areas where one can do research? So these we will be discussing one by one from Monday onward. For today, I will stop here. If there are any query, specific query, you can ask.